The Project Gutenberg ebook of Nonsense for Old and Young. This ebook is for the use of anyone anywhere in the United States and most other parts of the world at no cost and with almost no restrictions whatsoever. You may copy it, give it away or reuse it under the terms of the Project Gutenberg license included with this ebook or online at www.gutenberg.org. If you are not located in the United States, you will have to check the laws of the country where you are located before using this ebook. Title: Nonsense for Old and Young. Author: Eugene Field. Illustrator: John C. Fraun. Release date: January 30, 2024. Ebook number 72827. Language: English. Original publication: Boston, Henry A. Dickerman and Son, 1901. Credits: Charlene Taylor and the online distributed proofreading team at https://www.pgdp.net. This file was produced from images generously made available by the Internet Archive/American Libraries. Start of the Project Gutenberg ebook Nonsense for Old and Young. Transcriber's note: larger versions of most illustrations may be seen by right-clicking them and selecting an option to view them separately, or by double-tapping and / or stretching them. Additional notes will be found near the end of this ebook. Nonsense for Old and Young. Eugene Field. Nonsense for Old and Young by Eugene Field. Illustrated by John C. Fraun. Boston, Henry A. Dickerman and Son. Publishers, MCMI. Copyright 1901, by Henry A. Dickerman and Son. A little nonsense now and then is relished by the best of men. Oliver Wendell Holmes. A foreword. In compiling this volume we have endeavored to add pictorially to the amusement in these funny conceits from Field's versatile brain. The majority of the sketches herein appeared in the Denver Tribune, under the title of the Tribune Primer, with various subtitles, beginning Monday, October 10, 1881, and ending Monday, December 19, of the same year. The entire number of these quips was about 162, of which 94 were first published in book form as the Tribune Primer, in 1881. The balance, with the exception of 5 which are so local in their application that they have now lost some of their fine sarcastic humor, we here present for the first time with illustrations. In their original form the sketches were designated by Roman numerals instead of titles and were made up of short sentences, with a liberal display of capital letters after the style of first lessons in reading for children. The publishers. It is to laugh nonsense for old and young. One autumn night. A calm, delightful autumn night, a moon's mysterious, misty light, a maiden at her window height, in proper robe of fleecy white. The little wicket gate ajar, a lover tripping from afar, with tuneful voice and light guitar, to woo his radiant guiding star. The lute gave forth a plaintive twang, oh, how that doting lover sang. A bulldog with invidious fang, a nip, a grip, and then a pang. A maiden swooning in affright. A lover in a piteous plight, a canine quivering with delight, a wild, delirious autumn night. A portrait of a lady. Here we have a lady. She was at a party last night, and the paper spoke of her as the amiable and accomplished wife of our respected fellow citizen. Our respected fellow citizen is now as full as a tick, and his amiable and accomplished wife is walloping him with the rolling pin. The lady seems to be more accomplished than amiable. Would you? Is this a picture of an actress? No, it is a picture of a boodle politician. Is it not beautiful? The left eye is closed. It must be tired. He is sitting on a barrel. It must be a barrel of jam. Would you like to get your little hand into the barrel? We would. Good James and naughty Reginald. Once upon a time there was a bad boy whose name was Reginald, and there was a good boy whose name was James. Reginald would go fishing when his mama told him not to, and he cut off the cat's tail with the bread knife one day, and then told Mama the baby had driven it in with the rolling pin, which was a lie. James was always obedient, and when his mama told him not to help an old blind man across the street or go into a dark room where the boogies were, he always did what she said. That is why they called him Good James. Well, by and by, along came Christmas. Mama said, "You have been so bad, my son Reginald, you will not get any presents from Santa Claus this year, but you, my son James, will get oodles of presents, because you have been good." Will you believe it, children, that bad boy Reginald said he didn't care a darn and he kicked 3 feet of veneering off the piano just for meanness. Poor James was so sorry for Reginald that he cried for half an hour after he went to bed that night. Reginald lay wide awake until he saw James was asleep, and then he said, "If these people think they can fool me, they are mistaken." Just then Santa Claus came down the chimney. He had lots of pretty toys in a sack on his back. Reginald shut his eyes and pretended to be asleep. Then Santa Claus said, "Reginald is bad and I will not put any nice things in his stocking. But as for you, James, I will fill your stocking plumb full of toys, because you are good." So Santa Claus went to work and put, oh, heaps and heaps of goodies in James' stocking, but not a sign of a thing in Reginald's stocking. And then he laughed to himself and said, "I guess Reginald will be sorry tomorrow because he was so bad." As he said this, he crawled up the chimney and rode off in his sleigh. Now you can bet your boots Reginald was no spring chicken. He just got right straight out of bed and changed all those toys and truck from James' stocking into his own. "Santa Claus will have to sit up all night," said he, "when he expects to get away with my baggage." The next morning James got out of bed, and when he had said his prayers he limped over to his stocking, licking his chops and carrying his head as high as a bull going through a brush fence. But when he found there was nothing in his stocking, and that Reginald's stocking was as full as Papa is when he comes home late from the office, he sat down on the floor and began to wonder why on earth he had been such a good boy. Reginald spent a happy Christmas and James was very miserable. After all, children, it pays to be bad, so long as you combine intellect with crime. His busy day. This man is very busy. He is pushed for time. He looks as if he had more on his hands than he could accomplish. We feel sorry for him. He has an important engagement to keep, and he is hurrying up matters to meet it. He is to be hung at noon tomorrow. The joyful whirligig. Here is a sewing machine. It was made for little children to play with. Put your feet on the treadles and make the wheels go round fast. See how the thread unwinds and the needle bobs up and down. This is lots of fun. Do not deny baby the privilege of putting his fat little finger under the needle. It will make pretty holes in the finger and give baby something to occupy his attention for a long time. A fairy tale. Here we have Papa's watch. There is a fairy in the watch. Would you like to hear her sing? If you will drop the watch on the floor, the fairy in the watch will sing the prettiest little song you ever heard, and all the wheels will buzz just as funny as can be. When Papa comes home and finds the fairy has been singing, maybe he will ask you to step out into the woodshed with him on a matter of business. An epitaph. Here lies the body of Mary Ann, who rests in the bosom of Abraham. It's all very nice for Mary Ann, but it's mighty tough on Abraham. The hustler hustling. What is that I see? That, my child, is the news interviewer, and he is now interviewing a man. But where I can see no man. The man, my child, is in his mind. The Maid of Orleans. Here is a molasses jug. It is full of molasses. How many flies are there in the molasses? That is a hard one to answer. Those flies will look proud spread out on Sister Lucy's buckwheat cakes in the mornings. But Lucy will not care. She will pick them out of the molasses with her taper fingers, and wipe them on the bottom of her chair. But if her beau were there she would yell and say, "Oh, how horrid." The strength of a woman's stomach depends largely on the surroundings. Fancy versus fact. Mabel is sitting at the piano, and she is singing a song. The song says he is waiting for her in the gloaming. Mabel appears to be giving herself dead away. He is not waiting for her in the gloaming at all. He has just drawn a bobtail flush, and he is wondering whether he had better pull out or stand in on a bluff. Mabel would touch a responsive chord in his bosom if she were to sing "Take Back the Hand Which Thou Gavest." Society as reported. This is a recherche affair. Recherche affairs are sometimes met with in parlors and ballrooms, but more generally in the society department of newspapers. A recherche affair is an affair where the society editor is invited to the refreshment table. When the society editor is told his room is better than his company, the affair is not recherche. A musical genius. Who is the man? The man is Admiral McLean, and he is getting ready to sing. Can the Admiral sing? Those who have heard him say he cannot. Has he ever sung a song through? Nobody can tell. Why can nobody tell? Because everybody walks away when he begins to sing. The nervy drummer. Is this a brass foundry? No, it is a traveling man. He carries big trunks all over the country and makes love to dining room girls. He has been all over and under Europe and taken in all the great masters. He has scoured the Alps clean. He can tell more smutty stories than a politician, and he can get by slower on more liquor than any government official. The best way to get along with the traveling men is to get along without them. Lunar lore. The moon is a satellite. A satellite is a sort of associate editor. It revolves around somebody else and gets full on 4 quarters. The moon is a great way from the Earth. It would take a streetcar 16,239 years to make the distance. A snail could make it in half that time. Break a piece of glass out of Mama's mirror, smoke it over the lamp, and look at the moon through it. The senator. Here we have a senator. He is a proud bird. He has been renominated and he is happy. And who is the bird with the senator? It is one of his constituents. Is he happy? Yes, he too is happy because the senator is happy. But not too happy. Just happy enough. A colonial accident. Major Andre was a British officer. Benedict Arnold hired him for $4 a day to go as spy into the American camp and hear the news. He carried important papers in his boots, and, upon being arrested by the Americans, the papers were found. Then they said they would hang him. He was sorry for what he had done and said he was going to heaven. He fell with a dull, sickening thud. They are going to build a monument to him, not because he did wrong, but because he got caught. A natural mistake. Is this an S? No, this is the editor of a paper at Central City. Oh, what a mistake. No, my child, the mistake was a natural one. You would not insult an S, would you? Luminous law. Is this a fire? No, it is not a fire. It is the judge of the county court. Why did you think it was a fire? Because it looked so red. The judge is a nice man. He writes articles about the governor. You must not mistake him for a fire again. But you may compare him with the warm, sensuous glow of a Neapolitan sunset. Oft in the stilly night. Baby and I in the weary night are taking a walk for his delight. I drowsily stumble o'er stool and chair and clasp the babe with grim despair, for he's got the colic and paregoric don't seem to ease my squalling air. Baby and I in the morning grey are griping and squalling and walking away, the fire's gone out and I nearly freeze, there's a smell of peppermint on the breeze. Then mama wakes and baby takes and says, now cook the breakfast, please. A sad, sad story. The young man is reading a letter and seems deeply agitated. Maybe it is a letter from his sweetheart, and she has given him the grand bounce. How his breast heaves and how his heart must throb under his celluloid shirt front. The letter is from his tailor. Let us not invade the secrecy of the poor young man's grief. Fashion notes. Slippers should be worn high on bad little boys this winter. Fashionable corns are to be trimmed with steel blue razors this season. Red pepper worn on hot stoves continues to create quite a sensation in the best social circles. The chivalrous editor. This is an editorial writer. He is writing a thoughtful piece about the degeneracy of the age. He talks about the good old times when men were manly and youthful breasts were pregnant with chivalry. By and by he will go home and lick his wife for not cutting up enough cordwood for the kitchen fire in the morning, and he will spit tobacco all over his daughter Esther's new silk gown. Easy mathematics. If you are good at addition, put down a column of figures, 5 figures in a row, and the sum will represent the age of Clara Louise Kellogg. Suppose a man with a bottle of whiskey were to set down the bottle and carry the whiskey, what would the result be? If 1 gallon of coal oil will blow up a kitchen stove, how much Kansas City gin is required to make a man feel like a barn afire? If a Pueblo bedbug can travel 70 rods in 1 hour, when there is nothing ahead to encourage him, how many miles will he travel in 10 minutes to meet a fat man from Cheyenne? A mean man. A Chicago papa is so mean he won't let his little baby have more than 1 measle at a time. The office towel. Is this a corner lot? No, it is a towel. It has been serving an apprenticeship in a printing office for the past 4 years. The horses are dragging it away. A man will take an axe and break the towel into pieces and boil it for soap grease. Then he will sell the towel for tripe. If you find a piece of tripe with a monogram in one corner, you may know it is the towel. Scandal on foot. What is that walking along the street? That, my son, is a state senator. Will you not tell about it? No, my son, you are too young to hear scandal. The old TD. Is it a pipe? Yes, it is Papa's pipe and it has not been cleaned out for 4 months. It is full of ashes and spit. It would not hurt the pipe if you were to take several good long sucks at it. The awful bugaboo. There was an awful bugaboo whose eyes were red and hair was blue, his teeth were long and sharp and white and he went prowling round at night. A little girl was tucked in bed, a pretty nightcap on her head, her mamma heard her pleading say, "Oh, do not take the lamp away." But mamma took away the lamp and oh, the room was dark and damp, the little girl was scared to death, she did not dare to draw her breath. And all at once the bugaboo came rattling down the chimney flue, he perched upon the little bed and scratched the girl until she bled. He drank the blood and scratched again, the little girl cried out in vain, he picked her up and off he flew, this naughty, naughty bugaboo. So, children, when in bed tonight, don't let them take away the light, or else the awful bugaboo may come and fly away with you. The national debt. Here we have a greenbacker. He seems troubled about something. He is troubled about the national debt. He is grieving because the country of his nativity owes $1 billion. The other man around the corner is a grocery man. He, too, is troubled, but he is not worrying about the national debt. Oh, no. He is worrying about the $1.40 the greenbacker owes him. Johnny's alphabet. A stands for apple, so hard and so green. B stands for boy who is going away. C stands for colic that soon will be seen. D stands for devil that's shortly to pay. Thanksgiving Tales for the Profit of the Nursery Brigade. Tale I Prologue. This little boy looks as if he had on his father's clothes. Maybe he has not had anything to eat for a month. He is sitting on a stool. He is waiting for something. His hands are clasped over his stomach. Can he be waiting for his Thanksgiving dinner? What a queer little boy to wait so patiently. If he were to cry, he would get his dinner sooner, wouldn't he? Tale 2 Succulent Soup. In the tureen there are 2 gallons of soup and 11 cove oysters. Do not be afraid. The soup is pretty hot, but it will not burn you. If it is too hot, you can spit it out on the carpet. Do you like cove oysters? They are baby oysters taken out of the shell before they are hatched. Some people dry them and use them for gun wads. They are much more digestible than sole leather. Tale 3 Tempting Turkey. What a big fat turkey it is. It must have eaten lots of worms and caterpillars to be so fat. It is stuffed with nice stuffing made of old crusts and spoiled biscuits. The gravy looks quite tempting. It does not look like tobacco juice, does it? The innards of the turkey have been chopped up and are in the gravy. Unless the cook was very careful while chopping up the innards, there is a piece of her finger in the gravy, too. Will you try some of the turkey? Take a drumstick, the Pope's nose, a side bone, the neck, some of the breast and the wishbone. If that is not enough, ask Mama, please, can you have some more? Tale 4 Various Vegetables. The vegetables smell good. 2 or 3 of these onions would make you stronger. Suppose you try some of the turnip and squash. Pickled beets are also good to eat just before going to bed. The mashed potato is healthy when there are no potato bugs in it. They are very plenty this year. Will you put some jelly on your bread? How mad it would make your big sister Jenny to tip the jelly over in her lap. Suppose you try it as a joke. Tale v Venerable Venison. Here we have some venison. It may taste a trifle venerable, for it has been hanging up in the shed for several weeks. But Papa says it is not fly-blown, and everything goes on Thanksgiving Day. Once the venison was a little deer and lived in the mountains. A man caught it and hung it up on a tree and cut its poor little throat and let it bleed to death. What a bad man. Perhaps the deer's baby deers are crying for their mama who will never come. Tale 6 Peptonic Pudding. The hired girl is bringing on the pudding, and it is a daisy. We mean the pudding. It is full of plums. Make Mama give you a big piece of the pudding with ever so many plums in it. If we were you, we would swallow the plums whole, and then they will stay by you longer. When you have eaten the pudding, pick your little dish up and drink the sauce. Tale 7 Painful Pie. There are 3 kinds of pie: coconut pie, lemon pie, and mince pie. They are the only kinds of pie little children should eat. You will do well to try them all. As much pie as possible under the circumstances would be proper. The best way to eat pie is to take it up in your fingers. This is liable to make pretty little spots on your shirt front. Do you suppose by trying hard you could slip a piece of the lemon pie into your pocket to eat after you go to bed tonight? Tale 8 Fretful Fruit. Oh, what beautiful fruit! Apples, oranges, bananas, grapes, pears, and figs. Make a grab for them or you may not get any. Good little children eat grapes, skin, and all. I wonder if the figs have worms in them. But never mind, this is no time for questions. Your mama says orange juice will stain your frock, but it will not. What fun it would be to squirt some orange juice in the dear little baby's eyes. Tale 9 Innocent Ice Cream. Aha, here comes the ice cream. About 2 plates apiece will be enough for the children. Ice cream is funny stuff. You eat it and feel it in your eye. When you have eaten all you want, you will find it right jolly to pick the ice cream up in your fingers and paddle it around in your tumbler of water. Tail X Nutritious Nuts. Here we have the nuts. They are good for children. Crack them with your teeth. Be sure to drop the shells on the floor for the cat to eat. Do not forget to put a good many in your pocket for the poor little blind girl who lives around the corner. Tale 11 Weird and Woeful. This little boy looks too big for his clothes. He must have been measured when he had the ague. Mama will have to take off his vest with a button hook tonight. What makes the boy so pale? He has his hands gathered together over his diaphragm. Is the boy sick? The boy is sick. Maybe he has swallowed something that does not agree with him. Tale 12 Enter the Diligent Doctor. Who is the man coming through the door? He is the doctor. This is the worst symptom of the boy's illness we have seen yet. How can the boy get well now? The doctor asks Mama how the boy is. Mama is crying. The doctor says he can fix the boy. Tale 13 Exit the Beautiful Boy. The doctor has fixed the boy. Tale 14 Epilogue. Here we have a cemetery. Can you see the little gravestone over there? It is very cute. There must be a boy planted somewhere near it. Wouldn't you like to be planted under a cute little stone like that? Unless you do justice to your dinner today, you cannot hope for such a reward of merit. Beautiful Hortense. Miss Hortense is working a beautiful piece of embroidery. It is a motto in green and gold. It asks what is home without a mother. When Miss Hortense gets it done, she will give it to her beau, who tends a dry goods counter. You cannot see Miss Hortense's mother. She is in the backyard doing the week's washing. By and by she will be bringing in coal for the parlor stove, because Miss Hortense's beau is coming tonight. A toilet episode. Mama's toothbrush is on the bureau. Suppose we scrub out the sink with it? Then Mama will wonder what she has eaten to give her such a bad breath. She will think the toothbrush has been sitting up with a corpse. A terrible monster. Oh, what an awful sight. It is the editor of the Colorado Springs Gazette. He has long, white teeth, and there is blood on his gums. He is a bad man and he has just eaten a poor little baby. He is trying to get the capital removed. If he gets the capital removed, he will eat a poor little baby every day. You must tell your dear papa not to vote to have the capital removed. Poor pussy. Here we have a doorknock and a cat. The cat is approaching the well. She thinks there is a mouse there. Suppose we approach the well with the doorknock. There is no mouse as we can see. Perhaps the mouse is at the bottom of the well. Let us hitch the doorknock to the cat and put them in the well. Then the cat will not come back without the mouse. A fish story. See the fish. The fish is a trout and breathes through his ears. He lives in a brook and maybe if you try you can catch him. Any little boy who catches so many measles ought to be able to catch one little fish. The trout weighs 4 ounces, but you can say he weighs 4 pounds. Do not call him a speckled beauty or you will be shot. Eat him, head, tail, inwards and all, and get a little bone in your throat if you can beware. Oh, children, you must never chew tobacco, it is awful. The juice will quickly make you sick, if once you get your maw full. S.J. Tilden. The Vigilant Cop. Do not make a noise or you will wake the policeman. He is sitting on the doorstep asleep. It is very hard on him to have to sleep out of doors these cold nights. There is a bank being robbed around the corner and a woman is being killed in the next block. If the policeman waked up, he might find it out and arrest somebody. Some people believe this is what policemen are for, but the policemen do not think so. Something doing. Is this a cemetery? No, it is a picture of Pueblo during the busy season. Do you see the man patting the dog on the back and promising him a bone if he will lie down and go to sleep again? This is what they call an intensely exciting sensation in Pueblo. The Earth is going to live 500 million years longer, and Pueblo expects to be the state capital before the end of that time. You will not live to see it the capital, or, at least, you ought to hope not. Poor little Benny. Benny is lying in the cradle and he is crying because Mama will not give him the moon. What a naughty Mama not to give her little boy the moon. But Mama does not care how much Benny cries. She has a son, and the moon can go to thunder. Our motor press. Is this not a beautiful steam press? The steam is lying down on the floor taking a nap. He came from Africa and is 70 years old. The press prints papers. It can print 900 papers an hour. It takes 1 hour and 40 minutes to print the edition of the paper. The paper has a circulation of 37,000. The business manager says so. Freedom defined. Why is this great and glorious country called America? Principally because that is its name. Can you bound it? No, because it is a republic and will not be bound. A political object lesson. Do you see that candidate over there? He is standing still. He is a Democratic candidate. If he were a Republican he would be running. Democratic candidates are not real candidates. They cannot run. They do not even walk. When you are very tired and want to rest, you ought to become a Democratic candidate. Honesty on the run. If a poor but honest voter chases a reformer 4 blocks in 10 hours, how many blocks will he have to go to catch him? This depends altogether on the location of the bank. The truth about the cherry tree. Who was George Washington? He was Mrs. Washington's little boy. One day he went out in the orchard and got the hired man to chop down a cherry tree. Who has done this deed? Asked George's mother that very afternoon. There was blood in the old lady's eye. In order not to get fired, the hired man gave George 2 marbles and a top to say he did it. Mama, said George, I cannot tell a lie. I done it with the axe. Whereupon his mother complimented him on his truthfulness, but gave him one in the neck for using bad grammar. An ode to a cat. A hungry cat, a foolish rat. A lively run, exciting fun. Ferocious jaws, remorseless claws. A dying squeal, a hearty meal. Alas, poor rat. Oh happy cat. Look out. Boogies. Did you ever see a bugaboo? Ask Mama to blow out the light tonight after you go to bed and let you see a bugaboo. It has a big voice like a bear, and its claws are as long as a knife. It will bite good little children and run off with them to the cold dark woods where they can never see Mama anymore. If you are good, beware of bugaboos. Hot air versus cold water. See the windmill. It is a pretty sight. It has sails that go round and make a noise like the whirring of a bird's wings. The windmill looks sad. It has had hard luck. It used to be a Democratic politician and furnish enthusiasm for Arapahoe County campaigns. But wind will not run a campaign, and so the windmill lost its job. And now it stands out on a bleak prairie and hauls water out of the cold, hard earth for a living. Any kind of honest labor is awful rough on a Democrat, but having anything to do with water breaks him all up. The worried magnate. Who is the old man I see? The old man is a railroad builder, and his brow is clouded. Why is his brow clouded? It is clouded because this is Monday and he cannot build any railroad track. Why can he not build railroad track on Monday? Because he is pious and remembers the Sabbath day to keep everybody he can hire wholly busy. He only builds on Sunday. This is the reason he is so much respected in saloons and other mercantile establishments. His day of rest. Is this a Sunday? Yes, it is a Sunday. How peaceful and quiet it is. But who is the man? He does not look peaceful. He is a reporter and he is swearing. What makes him swear? Because he has to work on Sunday? Oh, no. He is swearing because he has to break the fourth commandment. It is a sad thing to be a reporter. The foxy compositor. Has the printer tobacco? He has, but he will not tell you so. He carries it in the leg of his boot, and when he wants a chew he sneaks down in the back alley where nobody can see him. When he spits tobacco, it sounds like a duck diving in the water. The printer is a queer man. He is a fickle person. Sometimes he has 10,000 EMS on the string, but they are always his dupes. If you are a printer, do not be a blacksmith, or you will get fired. 'Tis sad there's an end to all good things. Other Field books. Eugene Field Book 60 cents, Field de Coven Song Book 2.00, Holy Cross and Other Tales 1.25, House, the 1.25 Little Book of Profitable Tales 1.25, Little Book of Western Verse 1.25, Love Affairs of Bibliomaniac 1.25, Love Songs of Childhood 1.00, Lullaby Land 1.50, Second Book of Tales 1.25, Second Book of Verse 1.25, Sketch of Field, by Francis Wilson 1.25, Songs and Other Verse 1.25, Songs of Childhood 1.00, with Trumpet and Drum 1.00, Life and Letters. S. Thompson 1.00, Echoes from Sabina Farm 2.00, The Tribune Primer. Illustrated .50, Sharps and Flats. 2 Volume 2.50, A Sure Cure for the Blues, the funniest book in print. The Tribune Primer by Eugene Field. With original illustrations by John C. Fraun, Boston, Mass. Henry A. Dickerman and Son. Publishers 1900. It won't make a horse laugh because it wasn't written for horses, but any person who can read this book through without laughing must have an impediment in his smilax. New copyright edition, gilt edge, bound in art cloth, printed on Bangalore book paper from English type, illustrated with 94 of the most comical pen and ink skits ever seen. Original poster cover in 2 colors, that will appeal to your bump of humor. Price 50 cents at your dealers, or of the publishers Henry A. Dickerman and Son, 55 Franklin Street, Boston, Massachusetts, and be a handsome poster free with every copy. A soft word from Robert J. Burdett regarding what happened to Wigglesworth. Abraham Lincoln once said, "God must love plain people, because he made so many of them. Then humor must be heaven-born, because it glorifies the commonplace." Mr. Fuller's humor has no need of the finger-post of an introduction. His manner bears no stamp save that of his own personality. His characters introduce themselves as old friends, who try to surprise us by thinly disguised voices, by the change of a beard, or the innocent assumption of ignorance of our identity. The people concerning whom Mr. Fuller writes in these chronicles, he would have us believe dwell in Maine. But I knew them in Illinois, you have them in New York, they are your neighbors in California. We recognize them as old friends. Some busy years have separated us, a multitude of cares have swarmed into our lives and driven them out of our thought, and grateful are we that this apostle of humor suddenly turns the limelight of his humor upon the stage of this old workaday world of ours, revealing the little group of actors to our gaze, saying, "Did you ever see these people before?" And our ready, happy looks of glad and instant recognition contradict our "No, we never did" that goes with the extended hand of welcome greeting. Into his book, Mr. Fuller has put the laughter of our own lives. Our highest and most grateful appreciation of what he has done, will be to take the laughter of his book into our own hearts. Robert J. Burdett. Cairo, Egypt, February 6, 1901. What Happened to Wigglesworth by W. O. Fuller, Junior handsomely bound and illustrated with several full-page drawings. It will please everyone who likes good innocent humor. 12 mo gilt top. Price $1.50. Henry A. Dickerman and Son, Publishers, 55 Franklin Street, Boston. Done in types and pulled off the press of Lounsbury Nichols and Worth Company, Boston. Transcriber's notes: punctuation, hyphenation, and spelling inconsistencies were not changed. Simple typographical errors were corrected, unbalanced quotation marks were remedied when the change was obvious, and otherwise left unbalanced. This book does not have a table of contents or a list of illustrations. The original book used leaf-like symbols as separators or decorations. This ebook uses for all of them, and transcriber added a few more at the bottoms of what were pages in the original book. Page 43, Weird was printed that way. End of the Project Gutenberg ebook. Nonsense for old and young. Updated editions will replace the previous one. The old editions will be renamed. Creating the works from print editions not protected by U.S. copyright law means that no one owns a United States copyright in these works, so the Foundation, and you, can copy and distribute it in the United States without permission and without paying copyright royalties. Special rules, set forth in the general terms of use part of this license, apply to copying and distributing Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark concept and trademark. Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark, and may not be used if you charge for an ebook, except by following the terms of the trademark license, including paying royalties for use of the Project Gutenberg trademark. If you do not charge anything for copies of this ebook, complying with the trademark license is very easy. You may use this ebook for nearly any purpose, such as creation of derivative works, reports, performances, and research. Project Gutenberg ebooks may be modified and printed and given away. You may do practically anything in the United States with ebooks not protected by U.S. copyright law. Redistribution is subject to the trademark license, especially commercial redistribution. Start, full license. The full Project Gutenberg license. Please read this before you distribute or use this work to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark mission of promoting the free distribution of electronic works, by using or distributing this work, or any other work associated in any way with the phrase Project Gutenberg. You agree to comply with all the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark license available with this file or online at www.gutenberg.org/license. Section 1. General Terms of Use and Redistributing Project Gutenberg Trademark Electronic Works. 1.a. By reading or using any part of this Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work, you indicate that you have read, understand, agree to and accept all the terms of this license and intellectual property, trademark/copyright, agreement. If you do not agree to abide by all the terms of this agreement, you must cease using and return or destroy all copies of Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works in your possession. If you paid a fee for obtaining a copy of or access to a Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work and you do not agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement, you may obtain a refund from the person or entity to whom you paid the fee as set forth in paragraph 1.e.8. 1.b. Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark. It may only be used on or associated in any way with an electronic work by people who agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement. There are a few things that you can do with most Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works even without complying with the full terms of this agreement. See paragraph 1.c below. There are a lot of things you can do with Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works if you follow the terms of this agreement and help preserve free future access to Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works. See paragraph 1.e below. 1.c. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the Foundation or PGLOF, owns a compilation copyright in the collection of Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works. Nearly all the individual works in the collection are in the public domain in the United States. If an individual work is unprotected by copyright law in the United States and you are located in the United States, we do not claim a right to prevent you from copying, distributing, performing, displaying, or creating derivative works based on the work as long as all references to Project Gutenberg are removed. Of course, we hope that you will support the Project Gutenberg trademark mission of promoting free access to electronic works by freely sharing Project Gutenberg trademark works in compliance with the terms of this agreement for keeping the Project Gutenberg trademark name associated with the work. You can easily comply with the terms of this agreement by keeping this work in the same format with its attached full Project Gutenberg trademark license when you share it without charge with others. 1.d. The copyright laws of the place where you are located also govern what you can do with this work. Copyright laws in most countries are in a constant state of change. If you are outside the United States, check the laws of your country in addition to the terms of this agreement before downloading, copying, displaying, performing, distributing or creating derivative works based on this work or any other Project Gutenberg trademark work. The Foundation makes no representations concerning the copyright status of any work in any country other than the United States. 1.e Unless you have removed all references to Project Gutenberg, 1.e.1. The following sentence, with active links to, or other immediate access to, the full Project Gutenberg trademark license must appear prominently whenever any copy of a Project Gutenberg trademark work, any work on which the phrase Project Gutenberg appears, or with which the phrase Project Gutenberg is associated, is accessed, displayed, performed, viewed, copied or distributed. This ebook is for the use of anyone anywhere in the United States and most other parts of the world at no cost and with almost no restrictions whatsoever. You may copy it, give it away or reuse it under the terms of the Project Gutenberg license included with this ebook or online at www.gutenberg.org. If you are not located in the United States, you will have to check the laws of the country where you are located before using this ebook. 1.e.2. If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work is derived from texts not protected by U.S. copyright law, does not contain a notice indicating that it is posted with permission of the copyright holder, the work can be copied and distributed to anyone in the United States without paying any fees or charges. If you are redistributing or providing access to a work with the phrase Project Gutenberg associated with or appearing on the work, you must comply either with the requirements of paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 or obtain permission for the use of the work and the Project Gutenberg trademark as set forth in paragraphs 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.3. If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work is posted with the permission of the copyright holder, your use and distribution must comply with both paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 and any additional terms imposed by the copyright holder. Additional terms will be linked to the Project Gutenberg trademark license for all works posted with the permission of the copyright holder found at the beginning of this work. 1.e.4. Do not unlink or detach or remove the full Project Gutenberg trademark license terms from this work, or any files containing a part of this work or any other work associated with Project Gutenberg trademark. 1.e.5. Do not copy, display, perform, distribute or redistribute this electronic work, or any part of this electronic work, without prominently displaying the sentence set forth in paragraph 1.e.1 with active links or immediate access to the full terms of the Project Gutenberg trademark license. 1.e.6. You may convert to and distribute this work in any binary, compressed, marked up, non-proprietary or proprietary form, including any word processing or hypertext form. However, if you provide access to or distribute copies of a Project Gutenberg trademark work in a format other than plain vanilla ASCII or other format used in the official version posted on the official Project Gutenberg trademark website, www.gutenberg.org, you must, at no additional cost, fee, or expense to the user, provide a copy, a means of exporting a copy, or a means of obtaining a copy upon request, of the work in its original plain vanilla ASCII or other form. Any alternate format must include the full Project Gutenberg trademark license as specified in paragraph 1.e.1. 1.e.7. Do not charge a fee for access to, viewing, displaying, performing, copying or distributing any Project Gutenberg trademark works unless you comply with paragraph 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.8. You may charge a reasonable fee for copies of or providing access to or distributing Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works provided that, you pay a royalty fee of 20% of the gross profits you derive from the use of Project Gutenberg trademark works calculated using the method you already use to calculate your applicable taxes. The fee is owed to the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark, but he has agreed to donate royalties under this paragraph to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Royalty payments must be paid within 60 days following each date on which you prepare, or are legally required to prepare, your periodic tax returns. Royalty payments should be clearly marked as such and sent to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation at the address specified in Section 4, Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. You provide a full refund of any money paid by a user who notifies you in writing, or by email, within 30 days of receipt that he does not agree to the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark license. You must require such a user to return or destroy all copies of the works possessed in a physical medium and discontinue all use of and all access to other copies of Project Gutenberg trademark works. You provide, in accordance with paragraph 1.f.3, a full refund of any money paid for a work or a replacement copy, if a defect in the electronic work is discovered and reported to you within 90 days of receipt of the work. You comply with all other terms of this agreement for free distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark works. 1.e.9. If you wish to charge a fee or distribute a Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work or group of works on different terms than are set forth in this agreement, you must obtain permission in writing from the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the manager of the Project Gutenberg trademark. Contact the Foundation as set forth in Section 3 below. 1.f.1.f.1. Project Gutenberg volunteers and employees expend considerable effort to identify, do copyright research on, transcribe and proofread works not protected by U.S. copyright law in creating the Project Gutenberg trademark collection. Despite these efforts, Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works, and the medium on which they may be stored, may contain defects, such as, but not limited to, incomplete, inaccurate or corrupt data, transcription errors, a copyright or other intellectual property infringement, a defective or damaged disk or other medium, a computer virus, or computer codes that damage or cannot be read by your equipment. 1.f.2. Limited warranty, disclaimer of damages, except for the right of replacement or refund described in paragraph 1.f.3, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark, and any other party distributing a Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work under this agreement, disclaim all liability to you for damages, costs, and expenses, including legal fees. You agree that you have no remedies for negligence, strict liability, breach of warranty or breach of contract except those provided in paragraph 1.f.3. You agree that the foundation, the trademark owner, and any distributor under this agreement will not be liable to you for actual, direct, indirect, consequential, punitive, or incidental damages even if you give notice of the possibility of such damage. 1.f.3. Limited right of replacement or refund. If you discover a defect in this electronic work within 90 days of receiving it, you can receive a refund of the money, if any, you paid for it by sending a written explanation to the person you received the work from. If you received the work on a physical medium, you must return the medium with your written explanation. The person or entity that provided you with the defective work may elect to provide a replacement copy in lieu of a refund. If you received the work electronically, the person or entity providing it to you may choose to give you a second opportunity to receive the work electronically in lieu of a refund. If the second copy is also defective, you may demand a refund in writing without further opportunities to fix the problem. 1.f.4. Except for the limited right of replacement or refund set forth in paragraph 1.f.3, this work is provided to you as is, with no other warranties of any kind, express or implied, including but not limited to warranties of merchantability or fitness for any purpose. 1.f.5. Some states do not allow disclaimers of certain implied warranties or the exclusion or limitation of certain types of damages. If any disclaimer or limitation set forth in this agreement violates the law of the state applicable to this agreement, the agreement shall be interpreted to make the maximum disclaimer or limitation permitted by the applicable state law. The invalidity or unenforceability of any provision of this agreement shall not void the remaining provisions. 1.f.6. Indemnity. You agree to indemnify and hold the foundation, the trademark owner, any agent or employee of the foundation, anyone providing copies of Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works in accordance with this agreement, and any volunteers associated with the production, promotion, and distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works, harmless from all liability, costs, and expenses, including legal fees, that arise directly or indirectly from any of the following which you do or cause to occur. A. Distribution of this or any Project Gutenberg trademark work. B. Alteration, modification, or additions or deletions to any Project Gutenberg trademark work, and C. Any defect you cause. Section 2. Information about the mission of Project Gutenberg trademark. Project Gutenberg trademark is synonymous with the free distribution of electronic works in formats readable by the widest variety of computers including obsolete, old, middle-aged, and new computers. It exists because of the efforts of hundreds of volunteers and donations from people in all walks of life. Volunteers and financial support to provide volunteers with the assistance they need are critical to reaching Project Gutenberg trademark's goals and ensuring that the Project Gutenberg trademark collection will remain freely available for generations to come. In 2001, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation was created to provide a secure and permanent future for Project Gutenberg trademark and future generations. To learn more about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation and how your efforts and donations can help, see sections 3 and 4 and the Foundation information page at www.gutenberg.org. Section 3. Information about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation is a non-profit 501(c)(3) educational corporation organized under the laws of the state of Mississippi and granted tax-exempt status by the Internal Revenue Service. The Foundation's IN or Federal Tax Identification Number is 64-6221541. Contributions to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation are tax-deductible to the full extent permitted by U.S. federal laws and your state's laws. The Foundation's business office is located at 809 North 1500 West, Salt Lake City, Utah 841-16808-596-1887. Email contact links and up-to-date contact information can be found at the Foundation's website and official page at www.gutenberg.org/contact section 4. Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Project Gutenberg trademark depends upon and cannot survive without widespread public support and donations to carry out its mission of increasing the number of public domain and licensed works that can be freely distributed in machine-readable form accessible by the widest array of equipment including outdated equipment. Many small donations, $1 to $5,000, are particularly important to maintaining tax-exempt status with the IRS. The Foundation is committed to complying with the laws regulating charities and charitable donations in all 50 states of the United States. Compliance requirements are not uniform and it takes a considerable effort, much paperwork, and many fees to meet and keep up with these requirements. We do not solicit donations in locations where we have not received written confirmation of compliance. To send donations or determine the status of compliance for any particular state, visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. While we cannot and do not solicit contributions from states where we have not met the solicitation requirements, we know of no prohibition against accepting unsolicited donations from donors in such states who approach us with offers to donate. International donations are gratefully accepted, but we cannot make any statements concerning tax treatment of donations received from outside the United States. U.S. laws alone swamp our small staff. Please check the Project Gutenberg web pages for current donation methods and addresses. Donations are accepted in a number of other ways including checks, online payments, and credit card donations. To donate, please visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. Section 5. General information about Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works. Professor Michael S. Hart was the originator of the Project Gutenberg trademark concept of a library of electronic works that could be freely shared with anyone. For 40 years, he produced and distributed Project Gutenberg trademark ebooks with only a loose network of volunteer support. Project Gutenberg trademark ebooks are often created from several printed editions, all of which are confirmed as not protected by copyright in the U.S. unless a copyright notice is included. Thus, we do not necessarily keep ebooks in compliance with any particular paper edition. Most people start at our website, which has the main PG search facility, www.gutenberg.org. This website includes information about Project Gutenberg trademark, including how to make donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, how to help produce our new ebooks, and how to subscribe to our email newsletter to hear about new ebooks. Nonsense for Old and Young. A foreword. Nonsense for Old and Young. One autumn night. A portrait of a lady. Would you? Good James and naughty Reginald. His busy day. The joyful whirligig. A fairy tale. An epitaph. The hustler hustling. The Maid of Orleans. Fancy versus fact. Society as reported. A musical genius. The nervy drummer. Lunar lore. The senator. A colonial accident. A natural mistake. Luminous law. Oft in the stilly night. A sad, sad story. Fashion notes. The chivalrous editor. Easy mathematics. A mean man. The office towel. Scandal on foot. The old TD. The awful bugaboo. The national debt. Johnny's alphabet. Thanksgiving tales for the profit of the nursery brigade. Tale I prologue. Tale 2 succulent soup. Tale 3 Tempting turkey. Tale 4 Various vegetables. Tale V Venerable venison. Tale 6 Peptonic pudding. Tale 7 Painful pie. Tale 8 Fretful fruit. Tale 9 Innocent ice cream. Tale X Nutritious nuts. Tale 11 Weird and woeful. Tale 12 Enter the diligent doctor. Tale 13 Exit the beautiful boy. Tale 14 Epilogue. Beautiful Hortense. A toilet episode. A terrible monster. Poor pussy. A fish story. Beware. The vigilant cop something doing. Poor little Benny. Our motor press. Freedom defined. A political object lesson. Honesty on the run. The truth about the cherry tree. An ode to a cat. Look out. Boogies. Hot air versus cold water. The worried magnate. His day of rest. The foxy compositor. Other field books. A sure cure for the blues. Transcribers notes the full Project Gutenberg license 9 10 11 12 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58